How do you guarantee the right of education to every single child on Earth? 260 million children go to school every year and leave without ever having learned to read or write a word. $15 million Global Learning XPRIZE, which is sponsored by Elon Musk, is designed to incentivize teams to create open source software and content that will bring children from low levels of literacy to much higher levels of literacy on their own and with each other in reading, writing, and math without the aid of a teacher or potentially even a literate adult in the community where they live. The dream is that someday that tablet will exist and I walk away and she's got a world-class education in the palm of her hand. A less impoverished world is a more just world, it's a more equitable world, and in the final analysis, it's a more peaceful world.
Please welcome Matt Keller, Senior Director of XPRIZE.
Thank you very, very much. I appreciate everybody being here and welcoming the 5 finalists for the Global Learning XPRIZE. We started this process 3 years ago on this stage when we announced this prize, a $15 million prize purse sponsored by Elon Musk. We had a response that was not seen at that time at XPRIZE. We had hundreds and hundreds, over 1,000 people inquiring about how could they compete for this prize. And the process has been a pretty extraordinary one. And when we announced, what we said was, look, you've got between 60 and 80 million kids around the world who can't get to school for whatever reason. It's too far, it's too dangerous, it's too difficult. But the thing that really kind of sold us on developing this XPRIZE was you've got roughly another 250 million or so kids who go to school without ever having learned to read or write a word, which are UNESCO numbers, they're UNICEF numbers, they're OECD numbers. And we looked at those numbers and we thought, if that doesn't represent an epic market failure, we don't know what does. So how can we incentivize competition and open source it so that anybody from around the world can compete and try to solve this problem, this challenge? So we said to the world, develop software and content in both English and Swahili, designed to bring out the autodidact in every child, designed for those kids who live off the grid, who are unable to get to school, or who go to schools that are failing. And we had an enormous response, and we had people from 55 different countries sign up to compete. And we whittled that down and whittled down through attrition until we got to the top 11 semifinalist teams. They came to Los Angeles a couple of months ago. They made their pitch in front of our 11 judge panel, representing 5 different countries from around the world from a number of different competencies. They made their pitch, the judges deliberated, and tonight we announced the 5 winners out of those hundreds and hundreds of teams who developed software and content over 2 years. We're really happy to announce them to you today. It's been a long voyage. It's been one of those experiences where you realize, you know, when you ask people why they competed, you think they're going to say, well, for the $15 million. But to the person, they say, because it allowed us to be part of something larger than our own self-interest. It allowed us to do something and focus our attention and focus our expertise on something that we think is solvable. And so, you know, being around people like that, it's so inspiring. It is the best of humanity. And I couldn't be happier to have these teams here announced winning each $1 million on this stage tonight. And to introduce those teams, we're very happy and very kind of excited about the fact that some of the people watching this closely are the multilateral institutions that at the end of the day, if we can prove our basic supposition that children on their own can teach themselves how to read, write, and do basic mathematics, are the ones that will really bring this to life. So again, we are trying to prove that supposition, inviting the world in to help solve it. And once we prove it, and I think that we will, I think the world will take note and take off with it. So I'd like to introduce the person who will announce the 5 winners, Mr. Keith Hansen, the Vice President for Human Development at the World Bank Group, who oversees global practices for, importantly, education, health, nutrition, population, social protection, and labor. And Keith is going to announce the 5. They're going to come out on stage. and Pete Cashmore is going to lead a conversation with the 5 winners. So with that, I introduce Keith Hansen. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everybody. I'm delighted to be here today with such a dynamic and engaged group. I was told I was going to be one of the youngest people here, so I think I may have gotten the wrong memo on that, but I am delighted to be here. The World Bank Group works with countries and partners to help developing countries in their quest to end extreme poverty and to boost shared prosperity, which we believe can be achieved in the next 15 years or less. We are a major source of finance to developing countries, about $60 billion a year, but also and equally a major source of technical support and analytic work to help find some of the best solutions to problems around the world. We know now that every country is going to need to do 3 things to move ahead and prosper. 1, they have to continue to promote sustainable and inclusive growth that leaves no one behind. 2nd, they need to support resilience in the face of the growing shocks around the world. And 3rd, and in some ways most important, they have to invest in human beings. Human capital is the core of advancement and hopes for poverty reduction and equity. Because we know that every person, every child, needs to develop to the fullest her physical, her cognitive, and her socio-emotional capacity to make the most of his or her life and her country's life. And as a Vice President for Human Development, this is why I'm so pleased that human capital, human development, is now rising to the top of the development agenda and commanding so much attention. The World Bank is a major supporter of human development. In education alone, we've provided more than $45 billion around the world in this century alone. We know this because we do this because we know the returns are very high. An increase of only 1 year in the average level of education is linked to a 10% increase in wages in developing countries. And a woman who is able to read, her child has a 50% greater chance of surviving childhood and living into a prosperous and productive adulthood. So education is a gift that keeps on giving, not just for families and countries, but across generations. By the end of this month, we're going to issue our flagship annual technical report, the World Development Report, which this year, for the first time ever, is on education. It is going to document a global learning crisis. Just 2 more statistics before we move to the winners. In Tanzania, 3/4 of children in grade 3 are unable to understand a simple sentence, such as the name of the dog is Puppy. And in Brazil, even though there have been major advancements, it will be 75 years before the average child is performing at the same level of mathematics as the average child in a rich country. So there's an enormous amount of progress that needs to be made. As the World Bank, we know we are only one among many partners around the world engaged in this. And we know we are trying now to bring in more and more partnership on finance, but also on ideas. And this is why we're so excited to be here today supporting this XPRIZE innovation. The way XPRIZE is helping to catalyze is very important if we're going to be able to reach universal access to quality learning opportunities for children no matter where they live and no matter how much education or money or connections their parents have or don't have. Not all of these innovations will work. That is the nature of innovation, and probably most of them may underperform. But that doesn't mean they're not worth trying. In fact, that makes them more worth trying because the one great idea makes all the also-ran ideas pay off. So with that, I'm delighted to be able to announce the 5 finalists in the XPRIZE for Global Learning competition. And before I start reading their names, I wish all of them congratulations and good luck because the hard work really starts now. So if I can invite to the stage each of the finalists as I read their name, and please join me in congratulating each of them heartily. First, Curriculum Concepts International, CCI, a New York City-based instructional design firm developing structured and sequential instructional programs in addition to a platform seeking to enable non-coders to develop engaging learning content in any language or subject area. Second, Chimple, which is a Bangalore, India-based startup. Oh, sorry. A Bangalore, India-based startup building tablet-based solutions to help children learn better, and we're creating a crowdsourced learning platform aimed at enabling children to have fun while learning to read, write, and do math on a tablet through games and stories. Congratulations. third, 1 Billion, a multinational team based in the UK, Malawi, and Tanzania, which is working on transforming the education of marginalized children. They are merging numeracy with new literacy material to offer directed learning and creative activities with monitoring to respond to children's individualized needs. Congratulations. Next is RoboTutor, based in Pittsburgh, which is leveraging Carnegie Mellon's tremendous research and is combining decades of research on the science of learning with advanced language technologies and innovative machine learning tools for data-driven iterative design of educational software to increase learning gains. And finally, the KitKit School, an application with a game-based core and flexible learning architecture designed by the Berkeley-based Enuma Inc., a company whose mission is to build technologically exceptional learning tools that help children with special needs become independent learners. Congratulations to them.
All right, and here to lead a discussion with our 5 finalists. Happy to announce these teams today. I can't tell you how thrilled we are. It's been a long 3 years, but a good 3 years. Pete Cashmore, founder and CEO of Mashable.
Well, congratulations to all of you. This is absolutely huge. Each of you getting $1 million for your teams and projects. I'd love to start with maybe Reginald. You could talk a little bit about your team and then how you got involved in this. And I think I have to pass you this. There you go.
CCI is a family-owned business based here in New York City. We've been in this business for about 40 years. It's a company founded by my wife, Colleen, and our sons, Joshua and Jason, work in the company. We are a major developer of instructional materials, and our core mission has always been to close the achievement gap. So what the XPRIZE offered us an opportunity to do is to expand that mission globally. And what we've done is developed a program to teach kids Swahili, as well as an interactive system for letting people who don't know how to do code, okay, to develop programs in any language, in any content, anywhere in the world.
Sri, can you tell us a little bit about what your team is doing, Chimple?
Yeah, sure. So at Chimple, we believe that learning should be fun and simple. So we are an outfit based in Bangalore, and we are primarily game developers, literacy experts, teachers, and storytellers. So we have built a gaming platform which is actually based on top of exploratory model. Mm-hmm. So we believe students and children should actually learn on their own and not be taught too much.
And then what difference does this $1 million make to you? What are you going to do with that?
It's a significant thing for us. So we're going to scale up our operations a lot. Uh-huh. We have a couple of pilot projects, one in Bangalore and one in Tanzania. So we're going to expand that and get more results out of it and go from there.
Great. And then Jamie, maybe you can, our second most, Jamie Lannister's backstage, but our second most.
Also another British Jamie as well.
A lot of Jamies here. But the two-handed Jamie is going to tell us all about. Backstage, they were going, wait, he has 2 hands in real life? Tell us a little about your project.
Absolutely. So my name's Jamie. I'm from Team 1 Billion. We're a non-profit based in London and in Nairobi, Kenya. We do 2 things at 1 Billion. The first thing we do is exactly what XPRIZE are trying to do, and that's to develop solutions which teach children to read in their own language. Uh-huh. The second thing that we do is we try to get that software into the hands of as many children as we possibly can. The clue is slightly in the name 1 billion, mm-hmm. the number of children that we want to reach. We believe that XPRIZE will act as a catalyst for scalable quality education.
So what does this do for you beyond just the money? What does it do? Does it get you a lot more press out there? Do people start talking about your team? Does it get you more resource? Like beyond just the money, how does XPRIZE help you?
I mean, certainly one of the best things that XPRIZE did for us was give us a deadline. I mean, I think we would have continue trying to tinker and perfect it. So a deadline was a big thing for us. But we want to get the course, one course, which is our software, into many different languages. And that's what we're going to be using a majority of the prize money for.
Fantastic. You got something to add to that as well, Rachel?
Well, for us, it was never about money. It was always our core goal of closing the achievement gap. And what the XPRIZE has allowed us to do is to reach those children who are most in need without going through the politics and the steps that you have to do to sell into the United States school system. So we're very excited about the opportunity to partner with XPRIZE to be able to do that, because we think that our 40 years of experience in developing high-quality content, if we could deliver it directly to the students and empower them and other people who want to work with them, that is a huge, huge achievement.
Great. I want to get Suine in the conversation, if we can get the mic. There we go. You tell us a bit about KitKit School out in Berkeley.
Okay. KitKit School is a comprehensive early childhood platform, and we are KitKit School team. We are actually, it's a special team of Enuma Inc., edutech company locating at Berkeley and Korea.
Fantastic. And what does the $1 million do for you guys? What are you going to do with the money?
For finalist prize?
Yeah.
We already spent a large amount of money to build it well. And when we start to build application for children in Africa, we thought, okay, that is a basic learning tools and this and that, and it will be spend that amount of money. But when we field tested in Tanzania, we realized there are tons and more amount of contents it's needed, because we want to be sure all children have a really great early childhood skills before they are ready for early elementary skills. And we realized that the amount of early childhood support for those children are enormous. So we will just spend all of those money and more to make sure we are making a really great learning tool that is working for children in Tanzania and everywhere.
Fantastic. And let's get Jack into the conversation. You got your RoboTutor t-shirt on. So tell us, what is RoboTutor?
First, I would like to thank the Academy. I would like to thank the XPRIZE Foundation for this amazing opportunity to make a global difference. RoboTutor has three things especially going for it. We're building on decades of research at Carnegie Mellon University and elsewhere on how people learn and how automated tutors can effectively teach them. Second, we're harnessing several advanced technologies developed at Carnegie Mellon University: speech recognition, speech synthesis, machine learning, facial recognition or facial analysis of emotional expressions, and something I think I just left out. And finally, our approach is based on data-driven design iteration. Theory and previous research and expert opinion are not good predictors of everything that you need to do to make an effective educational product. So our entire approach is based on getting data back from RoboTutor as it's deployed in Tanzania. And we already have a beta site there that we're getting data back from on a daily basis. Mining that data, and Carnegie Mellon University is a world leader in educational data mining, figuring out what's most broken and how to fix it, and iterating. And that's how we hope to win the grand prize if we can, or at least do our level best at trying.
Fantastic. Well, unfortunately, that's all we've got time for. You can look up more details online, and then congratulations. You can keep that. You're all good. You can probably keep talking. He'll probably stay on for a while. He got something to add. But congratulations to all our finalists, and we look forward to seeing all your projects blossom. So congratulations.